Greetings one and all, and I welcome you to the SAP MM Demo, an initiative by Primark Infotech. My name is Prakash, and I will be the speaker for today and also trainer for the whole online course. I come with around 10 years of experience on materials management, and this whole experience starts from implementations, support projects, you've got upgrade projects, pre-sales, training as a trainer, and also a project manager. So I bring in a lot of industry exposure with me, and I would interact with you guys once we get onto the actual course. I'm passionate about training as a trainer or a trainee with the ways because I always keep myself upskilled, and that is what I believe you guys are all here for. I also believe in collaboration. What does that mean? I believe in a place where you also interact, you also give me what you knew or what you know, and that is what is going to be clubbed together to create one whole training module. And I don't make it as a boring thing. It's going to be an interactive thing. This is what as a collaboration I was talking about, and so you guys will gain more. So let's just go ahead and we'll try to understand what is the agenda for the whole demo about. So we'll discuss about the 5 W's and 1 H of SAP and materials management module in particular. So what is SAP and what materials management is all about? Who should take this course? Why SAP MM? How is Primark going to help you? When and where we start? So this is what is going to be our agenda. So what is SAP? I do understand and think that most of us are either in SAP already, or maybe you guys are fairly fresh. But let me just keep it as a simple slide. So SAP stands for Systems, Application and Products Data Processing. So don't call it SAP, it is SAP. And SAP is an integrated enterprise resource planning. It's like ERP solution. We don't have to discuss about the point, but it is an ERP solution which joins together all the departments of a particular industry. Say for suppose, let me take an automobile industry. So automobile industry has manufacturing, it has procurement, it has sales, it has finance, it has plant maintenance, it has maybe if required project systems. So there are multiple modules. So all are integrated and are created in one platform called SAP. And they are very strongly bonded to each other. So any impact or anything, any transaction being done in one system or one program or one module would have some repercussion in the other, like procurement, sales, or manufacturing. If they do some transactions in it, it has an impact with finance because it's either sales or it's purchase, or it could be manufacturing. So that is the in a nutshell what an ERP is all about, or maybe SAP is all about in particular. Coming to our core module, which is part of our discussion today, is SAP Materials Management Cycle. So again, let's take an analogy here. Let's take, I want to buy a laptop. What do I do? So first point is, I want a laptop. That is my requirement. The second step is, what do? I go online. I do a lot of research on what is the best product for me and which is the vendor from where I should be buying it. And then you kind of order it online, just keeping it as a simple cycle. And then what does happen? the ordering happens, and the vendor, whoever is supposed to ship you the material or the ship you the laptop, he updates it on the order. So once you get online, maybe third or the fourth day to check what is the status, you could see, okay, it's been already been shipped, or maybe it is still getting configured. And then voila, one day you receive the laptop, you're very happy. Either you do a cash on delivery, or maybe you already have paid for it. And then the whole system or the whole cycle close. So what does that mean? In everyday scenario, even in an industry, it could be manufacturing industry, it could be any kind of an industry, just keeping it simple. You need to buy raw materials, you need to source it. How do you buy raw materials? You first get the requirements from the manufacturing team, or maybe from the plant maintenance team, that you need such and such materials. You need to source that materials. You have a vendor, you buy, or you place a purchase order on them. You get the materials during the processing, between the the order processing and the good receipt. You could monitor where is the material. You have the invoice which is been verified at the gate, or maybe at the finances, and then from there you say, yes, I have received and it is in good condition, and you just send it for the finance to do the payment. So this whole cycle is what we are going to discuss in detail once we get on to the course. Now, in order to do any kind of a transaction or any kind of a thing in SAP, we have set of important or in fact it should be called as prerequisite and important. Go hand in hand, but they are needed. So what is that? One is the organization data, the other is master data, and then the other is the transaction data. What is the organization data? Again, let's take this analogy of automobile industry. I have 3 plants which are interconnected, and they are making some components or parts of an automobile or maybe a car. Now, in order to have these represented in SAP based upon the business requirement, we might add these 3 as 3 different plants in SAP. And then all the materials which are stored, say for suppose plant 1, it has a store where all the raw materials whichever are being sourced by us in procurement are being stored, and these store will be the primary point from where the material is picked up and then send it across to the manufacturing line. So this is required to have storage locations. So all those storage locations, example, are being maintained in SAP. Same way, once the manufacturing is done, I have 2 assembled products or components which need to be stored temporarily to be taken to the 3rd plant. And there they finally get assembled and they again go into another store. That is the final dispatch store. So you see there are intermediary stores, there are raw material stores, there are finished product stores. So all these are being mapped in SAP as storage locations. The organization which does the procurement in a particular manufacturing industry or whatever industry, that is called the purchase organization, and the group of people or maybe an individual, whoever does the procurement in there, are being created as the purchasing groups. So this is what is the org data. Now once the org data is ready, we need some data which is like master data. What is master data? We do have to, say for example, we have to buy nuts and bolts, or maybe it could be window panels, or it could be anything for the product, or maybe tires for suppose. All these items are a recurring thing, and these recurring things needs to be having a particular code, and that is where we come up with master data, especially material master. And the sourcing, what it happens for this material data is for the vendor master, and the services whichever we are going to utilize or maybe use during our whole tenure of maintenance, or could be anything, setting up of a new plant or something, There it requires all the services to be created as a master data, could be required. So that's how it is being done. If it is a recurring thing, we create it as a master. If it is not, then we might use some other way. The info records are something which is a combination of material vendor and then the purchase organization and plant. What is the information which could be stored? And then the source list. Source list is very important because source list is like where is the information where the material and the plant and all the vendors against that plant, against that material, sorry. Then comes the transaction data. So now that we have an organization data and then the master data, now comes the transaction data. What could be transaction? Now I have a requirement of 3 bolts and 5 nuts, or maybe it could be other way around or whatever. How are we going to place an indent? Indent or the requisition is via purchase requisition. It's a transaction. It gets an approval. Now it has to go for tendering. That is what is RFQ quotation all about. Once we have got a vendor who would be the probable vendor who would source us, we raise a purchase order on him, against him. And then the next would be a good receipt of those materials. And then the final thing is the invoice verification. In between, the service entry sheet is the one where we do the recording of how much services have been completed. Now let's understand why we should or who should take this course. So anyone who has the basic understanding or knowledge on procurement, and if he has an experience on procurement, it would be an added advantage, but it's not a disadvantage. If you kind of understand what I'm talking about, that means you are on the right track. So why SAP MM? So SAP MM as such is having a strong integration between a lot of modules. As I was initially discussing, that it has a good or strong bond with manufacturing, sales, finance. What does that all mean? So metals management also has a sub-module called inventory management. So inventory management is talking about purchase, talks about sales, it talks about manufacturing. All these combined, put together, they use inventory management. The quality management is something which is also a very important thing, which deals about how the material is being inspected before the manufacturing starts, during the manufacturing, after the manufacturing, and plant maintenance. It's again how the maintenance of a plant happens. Again, it has a strong bonding with the inventory management and also the procurement part, because anything which is required on the basis of materials which are required for plant maintenance, they are sourced via materials management. Warehouse management is an integral part, or maybe it is an extension to inventory management. Finance as accounting, as I said, every receipts, every issue, it has financial impact. Project systems again is also having a strong bonding with materials management. So all in all, it has a very good scope whenever there is an implementation, that it could be part of the implementation. When I checked out recently on the Naukri.com portal for person for 0 to 5 years experience, I see there are around 6,000 to 7,000 odd jobs available. That means there is a lot of scope again for people who would like to take up. This is just in India, mind you, and also it's a very good skill. It's a niche skill. Now, how we at Primark are going to help you? So during the course, as I said initially as well, it's going to be an interactive learning. It's not going to be a one way. QA sessions would happen on every topic ended or whenever it is going to end, and weekly reviews would be there on every Saturday. So keep in mind, we're gonna have 6-day course, and access to IDES server for practicing So that's a very good advantage, that you don't have to install everything into your system, but rather we can remote log on to SAP thanks to Primark. And post the completion, what are we going to do? We're going to have a mock project. Again, we'll have, as I'm also being part of the interview panel, I would try giving you some tips and tricks on how you manage your interview. And then the placement assistance is provided by Primark Infotech if you are, if it is required and you are in and around Hyderabad. And let me just go through the course topics and course content and the schedule on which we will be going in. So this is how is our whole course. We'll have an aggregation, we'll have MM overview, organization data, master data, which could comprise of all the things which we just spoke about, the tendering, that is the transaction data like purchase requisition, request for quotation, and then quotations, price comparison, purchase orders, release procedure, which is very important again, and the outline agreement, which is like contracts and scheduling agreements. We'll talk about them in detail when we are going through the course. And the good receipt, the inventory management part of the topics. And the most important thing is at the end of the course, we'll talk about the ASAP methodology, which is accelerated SAP methodology, on how do we implement or install, or in fact implement, I should be saying. And also we'll go through one case study that is talking about the course curriculum. And now I'll go through the way I have channelized, or maybe I've made it for you guys. We'll have around 8 weeks or 7.5 weeks to be precise. Every week has the 6th day for the recap and question answers and queries and concerns. Everything would be taken up there. So from day 1 to 5, whatever we cover, we'll have a basic recap and then we'll close. Same way, the next Monday, fresh, we talk about the new topic. On the weekend, again on Saturday, we'll recap and then close. So every day, whatever we are going to cover, it could be comprising of 1 to 1.5 hour, or maximum 2 at times, to pull our socks. So this is how I've made it for us. And I've put 2 reserve days just for the case that suddenly there could be an emergency, or maybe either I'm not available, either you guys are not available, just to see. I just kept 2 days for that. So all in all, in a nutshell, it would be a 45-day course. Now coming back to our actual thing, I think I'm done. And if you guys have any kind of questions or anything, kindly shoot it to us at Primark Infotech, and you also have the numbers. I would be eager to take the emails and calls. Kindly do let us know whenever you guys are ready. We'll give it a go. Thank you.